All right, guys, we got an exciting video. This is the 2016 WRX build that we're working on. It's basically come from nothing to something, and we're doing the last piece of the interior to fix it up. As you guys know, my head unit's completely busted, but I like doing this upgrade anyways, and we're installing an Idoing head unit in the WRX. This will not only be a full review and install, but everything you need to know, full install. Again, just like A to Z if you're thinking about upgrading your head unit on a VA WRX. We're going to be going over it. Not my first Idoing head unit. It's not my second Idoing head unit at WRX. It's probably like my third or fourth. I pretty much install them in every WRX except the 2022 Plus. So lots of VA Idoing head units in these cars. But let's get straight to installing it, and I'll show you guys everything you need to know. Probably one of the higher impact mods you can do for the interior of your car. I have no brand affiliation here. These are just solid head units, and they're not super expensive. Let's get into it. And if you guys aren't subscribed, please consider subscribing. Lots of stuff coming for this WRX. All the wires that we need, including trim tools. It's nice that these are packaged this way. I will show you guys exactly what you need out of this. You're not going to probably need all of it. You might need all of it, but I've installed a lot of these, and typically you don't need all of these. So we'll work our way through these. And then we have the head unit itself. Let's get this thing pulled out. And I mean, guys, it's pretty self-explanatory exactly why you need this. I'll take a few B-roll shots so you can take a peek. So give me 1 second here. I mean, guys, this alone should be reason enough to buy one. It is such an improvement. Material is solid, nice finishing, massive screen, not a huge protrusion here. They've really slimmed down these units over the years. Black color on the bottom, but the screen is just the upgrade. Like that, look at that screen. Absolutely insane. All right, so obviously super damaged. We're gonna pull this thing out pretty quickly. It's really not that hard. And you're just gonna go from one side. And there's the top bit out. Then we're just gonna use the flathead at the top to disconnect these two buttons. We're gonna use a 10 mil, pop out the two 10 mils that are holding it in. Those are a little tighter than I was expecting, which just means someone's taken this out before, because they're usually pretty loose from the factory. This is the type of project that you can do on an afternoon. It's pretty easy to do. It's a sunny day. We got some sun, but I'm actually preferring it. I know it makes it a little bit harder to look, but 2 bolts out, pretty easy. The rest of it just kind of comes out like that. Now this is where you want to be careful so you don't damage any of your plastic. You're kind of just gonna weasel it out and pull it forward. There's no way for me to show this on camera, but I'm going to show it, kind of point it with this flathead. Right about here, the AC unit plugs in right here. It's going to be a lot easier if you can unplug the AC unit first. This will be able to come out further, and then you can unplug everything in the back. It's going to feel counterintuitive. So what I like to do is I like to sneak the flathead in to the side like this. And you can pop the AC unit like that. It's all set. There we go. We got access to the back, or more access to the back. And again, I'm not going to show you guys this part because there's no reason to see it. We're just pushing down on the tabs and pulling them out. And this piece of crap just came out. I'll show you guys in a second what's in there. All right, so this is what our opening looks like. We have our two top. These go into the selector and the emergency lights. Then we got everything that goes into the back of the head unit. This was our big fat AC unit. Now we're gonna have to do a couple things. This is our top piece. We're gonna have to take these two buttons out. We're gonna have to take this louver out, this louver out. It's not that hard to do. It's just a bunch of tabs on the bottom. So we're gonna get that done. Then, because I'm lazy, looking down at where my feet are, this is the back of our AC unit. We're gonna have to take out Phillips, 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 Phillips. Once we get that all out, this will pop out and swap into our new unit. So let's do both those. We're gonna start by taking off the bottom 3. We need to take these side brackets off first, and that's gonna allow us to have access to take it off. We're gonna take off my Garmin so that I don't scratch the face of it. Is this guy out? One button out. Two out. There's one out. A little bit harder than I was expecting. Let's get the second one out. Last one out. Here's our brand new unit. Super nice. Before we put wires in, we're gonna get our bottom side put in and then our top side. Makes it a lot easier if we get that all done up front first. Bottom side, it's basically that easy. We're now gonna put the screws in. It's way easier to install this than to take it apart. Essentially cake, we're just putting our screws back in. Okay, the bottom half's in. Let's get the top half in. Memory stands, the red is on the top. So we're just gonna, red's in. Selectors on the bottom. All set. Next one in. All installed. Looking pretty good. I'm not going to show you guys everything because, again, you don't need to see everything. But we're going to go through and just plug most things in now and then figure out what we need and what we don't need. Start with saying we don't need this one, just based on the looks of things. We probably are going to run these USB cables. So we are going to use the one with the red tip. Okay, that one's in. This is our GPS. We're going to get this installed too. This has a gold tip like this, and it's going on the GPS nodule right here. So the furthest one to the left, right there. And then we have our microphone, which is going to have the microphone connection. We're going to use that. All right, so what we have plugged in is we have our microphone cable. We have our USB cables. We have our AM, FM radio or FM radio. And we have our GPS. And what we're going to do is we're going to mount this first, and then we're going to install the HVAC control system first so it will hold it all up. We'll lift everything out of the way here. And we have our HVAC in. And now it's all being held in on its own, which makes things a lot easier. So now we have to decide where we're going to route everything. I definitely want my GPS and I want my USBs in the glove compartment. So we're going to route that down into the glove compartment. All right, first one is in here. All right, and then we're going to feed our USB cables. And there's 3, so everything's pulled through here. Then we need to decide what we're going to do with the microphone. Now that's a little bit different. Then we're pulling that one through a gap by the steering wheel. Now this is the fun part. Again, you guys might say, oh, I want a close-up of this. I promise you, you guys don't. What's beautiful about these units is all the connectors line up. So what we're going to go through is we're going to go through and plug in all the connectors. I do believe there's one connector, and I'll confirm it, that doesn't plug in, and that's totally okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to get them all plugged in and then check back in a second. All right. So we have everything plugged in. You might be really excited at this point to say, let's get this thing fired up. Don't do that. We're going to hop into this seat right here. Actually, we might not even have to do that, but we're going to put a key in the car and make sure everything works. We need to hop in that seat because I want to make sure the reverse camera works. All right, so we're just going to give the car a little bit of power. Make sure everything starts up. All right, so we have startup here. That's what's most important. And then we're going to do one more thing. We're going to put foot on the brake, clutch in, reverse. And we got our camera. That's all we can ask for. Big thing with the camera is quality goes down tiny bit just because you have a bigger screen, which always 10 out of 10 is going to make this a better camera. So it looks a little bit funny, but that's just because you're looking at it at a much larger screen than a smaller resolution than it was meant for. All right, we're back on the other side again, and now we're gonna get this thing finally installed. So not a whole lot that we have to do here for the installation other than get it into place. We're gonna start by lining up the bottom and get the bottom to click in, and we're gonna kind of bend in the top at the same time so that we can get our vents in, because the vents actually have to slip in. And then we're just gonna weasel it all together. I'm putting pretty pretty solid pressure on this to get it into place, to get that fitment in. And well, damn guys, this thing looks good. Pretty good fitment. I'd say like the only things is the color of the finish is slightly different, but I actually think it's a huge improvement. And I have to imagine this is intentional because this like kind of matte satin finish, quite nice. I'm going to change the color of these control knobs just so it doesn't stick out as much. We'll probably go black, I think. I have a set of black ones in stock. And you just have to put a pretty good amount of force in. You don't want to push it. I will say, if you guys aren't finding that it's sealing up top here, which there's going to be some small amount of gap, if it's not fully sealing it, let it sit out in the sun for a couple days. These units are kind of like, they're, you know, like they install like this, but they get shipped like this. So as you get more sun, that curve is going to hold more for when you install it like that, because it needs to install like this, but it's shipped like this. And it's done that intentionally, so you have some tension. So it holds itself in and it doesn't want to like just slip out. You want it to like spring up. So it's intentional. It's not a bad thing. It's a good thing. It'll keep it in for a long term. So I typically go this tight, and then I will get this gap in and the same gap a little bit more in like a couple days, a little bit better. In terms of usability, we'll do a separate video on how to actually use it, but they're really, really straightforward. And then what you guys all want to see, I think everyone wants to see this part, is taking this off. My goodness, does that look insane? Look at it, it's so reflective. What an upgrade, guys. Is that not wild? Such an upgrade on the car. I gotta say, 10 out of 10.